technical difficulties going on here and had to shut down the live stream. I hope everybody joined us over here now. There was an issue, and here we are. We're live, and I want to wish everybody a happy Sunday and welcome you to Star Lordess Podcast. Let's try this again. Take two. Take two. I don't know what happened there. The camera froze and we were not able to proceed. So hopefully everyone has come over here. Hoping against hope. So how's everyone doing here on the Sunday night? Real country woman. Hello, Miss Ninja. Hi. Just a quick hello, yes, to let everybody in the chat know, Miss Ninja can't be joining us on a regular basis here because it's her mom's birthday. So everybody wish Ninja's mom a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Mama. I hope she's having a great time. And thanks for popping in to say hello to everyone at least. Hi, Miss Bikina. Yes, that is much better, right? The other one was just a blackout, a complete washout. I'm not sure what's happening here. Hopefully my guest or blackout, shall I say. Make sure to hit that like button and remember, no nonsense in this chat at all. We do not tolerate any nonsense. The mods right away, they spot you're trying to cause trouble in the chat. You get bounced out and reported immediately. We have a zero tolerance for that. So with that said, I'm sure we're going to have a great show. As soon as my guest shows up here to join us, we'll be moving forward with tonight's topic, which will be about crystals and tarot and all kinds of cool stuff. Just a reminder to all of you about next weekend's podcast. It will be pre-recorded and it's going to be on a Saturday due to the fact that Sunday is St. Patrick's Day and happens to be Tony and I's anniversary. So we might pop in, just do an impromptu live during the day on Sunday, but the podcast will be here and it will be presented as a live, but it will be pre-recorded. Take note of that. We'll be in the chat. Tony will be in the chat and so live. So that's just how it had to happen because my next week's guest has a very, very full schedule. So the only way we can do it is to pre-record it, and it will be released on Saturday evening for all of you. Same time, 6 p.m. Central. And that's what's going on there. So I'm just looking at the chat here. So yes, getting back to my guest tonight, he does have a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram channel, and he's ready to join us right now. Okay, everyone, welcome James from the great state of Arizona. Here he is. James, how are you doing, my friend? Oh, you froze up there.
Welcome to my prison.
Oh, how beautiful. You're outside. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. I got my crystals all here laid out, ready to go, and I'm outside and I'm loving it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so beautiful. You're in Arizona and the weather's nice?
Yeah, it's off and on, definitely, but right now we got perfect weather, sun shining, so.
Well, it's great. It was just ordered for the podcast, right?
Right, exactly.
That's so awesome. Well, welcome to the show, James. And at first, I want to sort of take it back to when I first met you, when I first noticed your channel. You were on YouTube as a tarot reader like myself. You had your weeklies, monthlies, and stuff up there. And I always thought you were really, like, I was one of the first people to subscribe to your channel. I thought you were really upbeat. I loved the way that you were so encouraging and your readings were pretty good. And speaking of readings, do you remember when you sent me, when I was having some lung issues back in the day, and you sent me a private reading for me for my health, and it was so bang on. Do you
All right.
still do those health readings?
Yeah, I do offer them in my shop, but it's hard to I guess get people to trust me with that sort of thing because it's such a personal thing that unless you know the person intimately, you don't necessarily want to share the details of your health problems.
Oh,
Because the
right,
way I do readings is I'm always going straight for the shadows. So
right, right.
I don't hold any punches back. So people get kind of put off by
Exactly.
them.
But you know what, James? When you did the reading for me, it was so bang on. And yes, I know about the shadow because on your channel too, when you used to do the tarot readings, you did a lot of the shadow work and stuff as well. But I think I'm pretty sure I recommended a few people who had health questions. I recommended you to them, and I got feedback from one of the people, and they said that it was excellent. So I think it's really good. So if any of you out there in the chat really, if you're still doing those health readings, hit James up for sure. And speaking of your shop, I tried to get the copy the link to put it from your Instagram channel. I tried to copy it, but for some reason it was not working. My first live was a disaster. Like when I tried to go on, it was all blank and I couldn't get the link in there. But I will try and get somebody to put the link in. And if not after the broadcast, I can put it in later if I can get that link, or if you can put it in. I just need it in there for to direct people to you.
I'll have them
But
take care of them.
getting back to the whole crystal thing, like I said, when I first met you, you were had a tarot channel, and then all of a sudden you pop up on Instagram with all of these incredible crystals, and you have such a great Instagram channel that shows all of this beautiful stuff. Wow, that
Yeah,
is
I believe
beautiful.
that's the
And what is
trend.
that called, James?
This one's a green fluorite from Madagascar. It actually is a UV color changing fluorite. So depending what light you're looking at it in, it's going to change colors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And is that a healing one? Does that work for healing or any special
Yeah.
purpose?
I guess I could explain my approach to crystals if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, please do. I want to know how you got into crystals and how this all
So,
came about.
yeah. I woke up about 9 years ago, and the reason I got into crystals was because I woke up one night in a cold sweat. I'd had a horrible nightmare with some demon chasing me. I
Mm,
woke up, I had three scratches on my shoulder, and I
mhm,
was like, uh oh. I had just woken up, and so I thought, I'm under attack of some kind. So I
mhm,
started researching about crystals, and the first crystal I got was a labradorite, and I used that under my pillow, and I used that during my sleep phase and it seemed to work. It seemed to keep the bad dreams away. So I started meditating with this crystal, and I could feel its energy. It was the first time I ever felt any kind of energy before in my life. It
mhm.
was like a shocking moment, and from that day to this day, I've worked with crystals every single day for the last 8 or 9 years. So I'm no expert. I don't approach crystals from the mineralogical perspective. I
Right,
know a little bit about that. I don't approach it from the collection perspective, though I have a huge collection. But I'm more approaching it from the healing perspective. And
okay.
I want to know what these crystals are here to help me with, how I can help them, how I am them. And so I approach crystals from the perspective where I believe that they all have consciousness. Every single one has a
Mhm,
consciousness exactly like ours, not exactly, but it comes from the same place. So
okay.
my whole goal with the crystal is to connect with that consciousness, and I do that through meditation. And generally, that
Right,
consciousness is here to help us to heal. It's here to help humanity to grow and expand and ascend. So
right.
you might see a bunch of rocks here, right? But I see all sorts of different consciousnesses that are willing to help humanity, and that's their role. I mean, they have many different roles, just like us. You don't have one mission; we have many different missions. But one of the missions of these crystals is to help humanity to expand.
Wow. Okay. I feel that for sure. I know what you're talking about. I feel it.
Yeah. So
Is that the same as what I have here, James?
that's a selenite.
Yeah. Is that what you just had there?
Herkimer diamond. This
Oh.
comes from New York. It only comes from New York, and
Oh.
it's a quartz crystal
Mhm.
that its energy and its vibration is pretty high compared to the other quartz crystals. So most people who find it and work with it realize it's a special crystal, definitely. So
Yeah.
this is one of the higher vibrations of quartz.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
And then, what does that other one do? The one that you showed me originally, the green. It looks green right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is green. And one
Mhm.
thing that you can go by, generally speaking, with crystals is their color. A
Okay.
lot of the times, not always, but the color will resonate with that chakra. So this, for me, I find, and crystals are different for every person. So it's not going to be the same for Sally as it is for Jeff. But for me, this resonates with the heart chakra. And whenever I feel like I don't understand my emotions, if I come to some confusing emotions that kind of I can't situate them straight,
Yeah.
the green fluorite is very beneficial because fluorite's got such a organized structure to it. If you look at these cubes, you don't
Right.
often see that in the
No,
mineral
you
world.
don't. No.
Right. So has a very organized energy. And since it's green, it resonates with the heart chakra. So it helps you to organize your emotions kind of
Oh.
and understand them better and understand the emotions of others as well.
Well, I think that's really good for because you're a Scorpio, right? Like me, and
Right.
we process all of our emotions. Like all of our emotions have to be processed. Like all of our thoughts, everything that goes on around us has to be processed through all water signs, through our emotions. So I think having something like that would be really, really beneficial, especially to the water signs who have to process everything through the emotion. Everything we're told, everything we think has to be processed through the emotions. So I'm sure that's been a big help to you being a Scorpio, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I find that for me, I dive headfirst into the emotions. I don't really need help to do it. It's kind of my natural tendency is to go
Right.
straight into the darkness. I
Yeah.
guess that's a kind of a trait of Scorpio, but that's especially a trait of myself.
Yeah.
So for me, these don't help me as much as the grounding crystals do. The
Oh,
grounding
is that
crystals, such as this smoky quartz here,
oh,
they help me a
I
lot more because when I dive into the emotions, you kind of want something to bring you back so that you don't get stuck there, so that
Oh,
you
I
can come
see
back.
what you're saying, yeah,
Yeah,
mhm.
you can
For
come back
me,
to
I
3D
would
reality.
probably want the green one to help me sort out the emotions. Diving into the emotions, second nature to me, but I
Right,
think that sorting out, because sometimes, I mean, I'm not sure if I feel sad or if I feel angry or if I feel I'm trying to process there's too many emotions all going on at the same time, so something like that green one would probably help me at least to identify what the emotions are, right?
right. Yeah,
That
and the different crystals do different things. So this is a green crystal, sure. Yeah, but this is a malachite, and it's a green crystal and it resonates with the heart, but actually it has a little bit of a different energy. I find that malachite's more about accessing your creativity,
okay.
accessing your wanting to share and to spread love. Whereas
Mhm.
this is more about learning about your emotions. This is more about letting them go outwardly. So though they
Oh,
have the same color, every crystal is a bit different.
yeah. Oh, cool. That is so cool. How come it's in a ball?
So this is shaped this way. They don't come like this naturally. And what
Oh,
happens is they take a piece of material that's 10 times the size,
mhm,
literally 10 times the size of it, and they work it down. They'll make it into an octagon or octahedron. Then they'll make
mhm.
it smaller and smaller till they polish it into a perfect sphere. And the point of it is to change the way the energy is emitted.
Oh,
With a
is that
crystal, a natural crystal like this, the energy is going to go in all different directions because it
right?
has different points.
Right.
This crystal, since it's been shaped into a sphere, spheres emit their energy evenly in an outward direction. So
Okay.
these are actually made more for meditation. They're great for putting in your hands,
Mhm.
and they just emit their energy evenly so that they resonate with your field evenly. So it's a
Oh,
nice calm. Uh, what's the word? It's just an energy that you can You
Right.
expect it coming, as if that,
It
you know.
it looks like it's the size of a baseball, is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right, about a
Okay.
baseball.
Yeah,
Uh,
alright, cool.
they come in
Oh,
like,
wow.
come in very small sizes. We saw one as big as a house almost, a small house in Tucson.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so
Mm.
Tucson is a very special place. It's where a lot of these crystals come from. It's the largest gem show in the world. It happens every year, and the city of Tucson's kind of doesn't shut down. The whole city is kind of host to all different shows. Usually, there's 30 something shows. People from every country in the world, every crystal that's ever been mined up is there, represented somehow. And it's just such a high vibration that we go every year, and we just we just go into this city and all our worries and stresses and traumas even will just evaporate because we're in the presence of so many crystals. And you'll
Alright.
see crystals that are gigantic, some that are super rare, some that are just you never seen before, and it's just a great experience. So that's how I acquire my crystals. A lot of them I kind of hand pick in Tucson. So it's like walking through a sea of crystals, and everyone is shouting for you to pick them up, and you do, right? It's so much fun to touch them and play with them. But
Mhm.
I kind of pick the ones that want to heal, that really want to work with me and with others, and those are the ones that I take home generally.
Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense because I had a friend when I lived in the big city. They used to have once a year would have a show for gems and crystals and so forth. And I used to go with her. And I remember asking her, what kind of crystal should I get? It was when I was first starting my channel. And she said, really, I believe that you don't choose the crystals, they kind of choose you. So
That's
you've
right.
got to go in there, be exposed to all these different crystals and pick the ones that vibe with you, and those are the best ones for you because it's an individual thing. So I guess she was right about that.
Yeah, that's phenomenal advice. So too many times I see people choosing the crystals based on how they look. And while
Right.
that is a way to approach them, and I don't fault that, you're not necessarily going to get the crystals that are going to bring healing to you. You're going to get the ones that your ego wants, which are
Right.
often very pretty, very gorgeous, but you might find that that crystal kind of sits in a corner somewhere and you don't have the desire to pick it up or take it with you on your
Exactly.
travels. But the one that calls to you, you keep it near you, right? You keep it in your pocket or your purse or your car, and that's because its energy wants to be with your energy. So I find that the advice your friend gave you is probably the best advice concerning crystals.
Yes, because when I picked up this one, after she told me that, there was a lot of them there, and this one was the one that kind of spoke to me spiritually. And I picked it up, and this, like you said, it barely leaves my hand. Everybody always asks me on the videos, "What's that in your hand? What's that in your hand?" It's like I find that I use it for concentration. Like I even use it on the podcast because it helps me stay on point, stay on focus. It seems like when I put it down, my mind can wander, but as soon as I pick it up, it helps me to focus. It's always been that this one single thing has always been the one when I need to focus, even if I'm working on like paperwork or something like that. I grab this just to stay focused.
Well,
It's amazing.
you chose a fantastic one. Selenite,
Yes,
I use a lot for tarot because it's so purifying. It purifies the deck, it purifies your energy, it
true.
purifies the energy between you and your higher self so you can bring down good messages. So selenite's one of the premier crystals, if you ask me, for keeping an area clean and high vibrational so that there's no outside influences. As you said, like when it's not in your hand, your ego comes back. So yeah,
Right.
selenite's
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly. I get distracted and I start going off here and there. I pick it up and all of a sudden I can focus again. And when I'm not using it, it's on my desk with my cards and it's on top, it's laying on top of my cards at all times until I pick it up. So yeah, that makes sense. It's also clearing the deck. I have a question for you. A friend of mine went to Mexico to some Mayan place or whatever, and he wanted to pick up something special for me. So he grabbed this. I don't know because people ask me what type of stone it is. It's very heavy and it's very black. And people say, "Is that obsidian?" I don't know what it is because he didn't know what it was, but he said that he told the shop owner that he was looking for somebody who, goes online or whatever, so I want her to be protected. So this is what he brought me back. And let me tell you, talk about being charged. I hold on to this sometimes, especially on a full moon, and I put it in between my palms for meditation, and it's amazing the energy I get from it. I've even had clients who were really upset and unfocused hold on to it, and it changes their. It's almost like it takes the negativity away, and I don't know what it is exactly, but it's pretty cool.
Well, if it came from Mexico, there's a great chance that it's obsidian. It looks like it's black obsidian, but there's many different kinds. So there's snowflake obsidian, Apache tear obsidian, gold sheen obsidian.
Oh, I see.
So it looks like that's black obsidian. And for me, black obsidian, it does the things that you said, but when I go deeper into it, I found that it made it actually easier for me to access my shadows, my dark aspects.
Oh, is
It's
that
almost
right?
like a lot of people use it for scrying, and they'll see images in the obsidian because it's so reflective. So it's great for scrying. I've never had much luck with that, but for me, meditating with black obsidian, I go straight to the dark aspects of myself, and it
Oh,
makes it easier
really?
to see myself. Yeah, and it's different for everybody. Some people use it for protection. I never found it very protective, but that's just me. And I'm a Scorpio, so I already am able to protect myself pretty well. I feel like I'm able to go into the shadows. So
Right.
it kind of just made that easier for me.
Well, I think when it comes to black obsidian, I don't know if that's what this is because I have an interesting story about black obsidian. I had jewelry. Once I was wearing the ring, the black obsidian ring, for my niece's wedding, and I ended up dislocating. I had a bad accident at the end of the wedding. I slipped on my one of the bridesmaids' dresses, and I ended up dislocating my shoulder. And then another time, I had a really bad experience where my fiance, well, now my husband, we got drugged at this party, and I was wearing a black obsidian necklace. And as a result of it, there was a horrible accident. I got hit by a car. My hand was broken, and everything else. It was terrible, and I was wearing that. So it seems like every time I wear black obsidian jewelry, that's why I don't wear it anymore because it seems to have caused some really bad scene. But that's why I'm wondering about this because this rock here, I noticed when I hold on to it, it seems like it takes all the negativity away. And I clean it with ice cold water sometimes and just to clear the energy. And I feel like it just, when I hold on to it, it just removes the negativity. So I don't
Okay.
know if this is maybe it's a different kind of black obsidian than the jewelry that I was wearing.
It could be Numite, it could be Jets. I mean, there's a lot of crystals that look very similar to it.
Oh, okay. I know that it's
Yeah.
very, very heavy. Like
It could be
it's like a big
tourmaline.
you don't want to drop this on your toe. It's extremely heavy.
Yeah, if it's heavy, it might be black tourmaline too.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. And that's isn't black tourmaline more protective?
Yeah, exactly. So that might be it.
Oh, okay, then that's probably what this is. I also have another question about healer's gold. I looked high and low with my friend in the city. Finally, we went to one of those shows and I found a small healer's gold, but it had a hole through it, so it was meant to be a necklace. I made it into a necklace. And what do you think of healer's gold? I think it brings me some kind of peace and calming, but I don't know if it's healing or, but I mean, that's why I got it because I thought it was supposed to be healing.
Are you referring to iron pyrite?
Is that what they call healer's gold?
I've heard of fool's gold, which is iron pyrite. It looks a lot like gold. It's heavy
This
like
one
gold.
doesn't. It just has gold flecks in it, and it's just called healer's gold.
Could you give me some iron pyrite, Tara? Yeah, I don't never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of uh what I said, the fool's gold, but yeah, I don't know about healer's gold. I mean,
Oh,
there's gold stone, if that's what you mean.
yeah. I've got it in. Well, when I go for my break, I'll bring it back. I warned
Yeah,
you about the break, right?
I got some fool's gold. I'll show you if this is what you're
Okay.
talking about. 1 second. Not this, right?
Oh, no, no, it's not that at all. No. That's
Okay.
pretty though. It's very
Yeah.
pretty.
This is iron pyrite. It's
Oh,
called fool's gold because in the 1800s, miners would pull this out of the ground
I've
thinking
heard.
it was gold, and then
Uh,
they go try to cash it in and find out it was worthless. But to
yeah.
me, it's not worthless. It's got a lot of healing properties.
Oh, is that right? Okay, because I find that's very pretty. Like when you were shining it, the sun was shining on it, and it looked like diamonds there for a minute. Yeah, look at that. The way it sparkles like a diamond. It's beautiful. That's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff is great for manifestation. It resonates with the solar plexus, I find. So it's
Oh,
very protective, but it helps you to, at least it helps me. Like I said, crystals are
mhm.
different for everyone, but it helps me to kind of express my creativity a little bit and put my energy out instead of, taking on the energy of others.
Oh, that's great. That's really awesome. I could use that because I'm an empath, so I'm always
Mm,
taking on energies of others,
that's
right?
good.
No, but that is really cool. And where do you get your beautiful crystals from? Those shows that you go to?
A lot of them I get from Tucson. I have some guys in the Middle East I have connections with, but
Okay.
yeah, Tucson has, like I was saying, it's the biggest show in the world, so it has basically everything. And then obviously you can't buy everything. You can pick out the ones that are ready to heal. So that's what I do generally, is I find the ones that want to heal with me. I kind of
Oh,
use them, and once they're done with me, I kind of cleanse them up and put them in my shop, and other people can work with them.
oh, so you also sell these gems? These?
Yeah, I have a Etsy shop. So
Yeah.
I I'm not I hate to call myself a collector because I have a lot of crystals, but the I can't work with all of them. So
Right.
like I said, I try to heal with them as much as I work with them, learn from them, and then pass them on to people. So I have an Etsy shop where I all of these are available in my Etsy shop basically.
Oh,
So
that's
you were talking about empaths, and I have the perfect crystal for empaths.
really.
This is a pink damberite. I don't know. Here's another one. Pink damberite is one of the
Okay.
music crystals that such a high.
Is it right?
So I don't know how to explain it. It sends your consciousness outside.
Mhm.
So when I work with this, I can leave my body pretty easily, astral travel a little bit in my own way.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, so they're great for empaths because they're also protective and they help you to distinguish between your energy and the energy of others. So
Oh,
they're, I mean, the lighting here is not the best, but they're full of rainbows.
okay.
And yeah, light workers for spiritual people who are looking to elevate their consciousness and step out of their ego.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
I don't know if that's going to come through.
Yeah, can't really see too much of the sparkle, but it does look like light
Yeah,
in color.
yeah, they're gorgeous. So for an empath, if you're having trouble maintaining,
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
the other ones in the Synergy 12 are Moldavite, Herterites, there's Scolasite. So these are the top vibrating crystals if you were to
Oh.
put a ranking system on it.
I have a question for you about salt lamps. We all use the salt lamps. I have like three of them in my house. And what do you think of those salt lamps?
I mean, I think anything that raises the vibration of the room is beneficial. You know, it's better to have a salt lamp in your house than a light lamp, right? Or
Oh,
a TV, or so.
mhm.
I'm sure that they help to clean up the EMFs as well. So I wouldn't say anything bad about them at all. And I love Himalayan sea salt. So
Yeah, because like we have one right beside our television and stereo and everything, like all of the electronics, there's one right beside it. And then anywhere around the house. And of course, in my room, my studio. So I was just wondering because I know they do make a mess. there is like always cleaning up the salt around them. And one day I wondered, like, do these really help? I have one right by my bed, and I use it like I turn it on during the day and then turn it down at night. But I'm like, is this really helping? I know salt air and salt water is actually good for us. So I
Are
assume.
you are you familiar with orgonite?
No, what's that?
Oh, okay. Orgonite is a contraption that was, I'm not sure of all the details of it, but they make them about this big. And what they do is they apply a lot of pressure to it. It
Right.
will release a piezoelectric signal. And so, like a charge, it charges the area around it, squeeze a crystal. So, what orgonite does is it takes a state of constant stress. So, it's always being squeezed together, basically charging up the area around it and restricting EMFs from entering, restricting any bad energies from entering.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's mixing science with the metaphysical. So it's mixing the crystals and with the power of the crystals with
Right.
them, and I stand by them. Just like your selenite, it cleanses the area around it, and so I recommend them wholeheartedly if they're done correctly.
And how do you recommend, or what's your method that you use to cleanse the crystals?
Cool as the healing bowls, the singing bowls.
Okay, yeah.
So I use sound resonance, sound therapy, I guess, if you will, for the crystals.
Is that right?
You can smudge them, you can put them out on the moon, you can run them underwater, and each individual crystal I find likes its own way of being cleansed.
Mhm,
So it's best to commune with the crystal and talk to it and see what it wants. But
mhm.
for me, like the easiest, quickest thing, it charges me up too.
Yeah, those things are awesome. Those are really cool. Yeah, I use cold water like for this, and this I usually try to cleanse them on a new moon. I cleanse this with cold water and then my stick, but then I have a nice fluffy towel that I use to dry them, and then I put them there, and then a lot of times I'll smudge them when I'm smudging the cards and stuff. So that's
Yeah,
what I
and just be
do.
careful. Some crystals don't like water. Some crystals will fade in the sun. So it's just a
Really, they fade in the sun? I never. Yes, I have one of those.
why.
Yeah.
And if I were to leave this in all its color, but it turned like a very light purple, and wouldn't have the
Right.
you just don't you wouldn't want to like forget it out in the sun, I guess.
Oh, so you recommend that you don't put it by a window that's got a lot of sunlight coming in?
Crystals love sun, so they
Oh,
love it. But it's just some crystals will fade their color, and it doesn't really hurt the crystal. The crystal doesn't care, but your ego might if it
right.
crystals in a different color today. So
Exactly. But you're saying it's not gonna lose the strength of the crystal won't lose strength if it loses color.
it might if the crystal gets a little depressed. I believe they have consciousness, so I believe they have emotions as well. So if it's been neglected in the sun, it's going to have a lower vibration than it usually will
Oh,
hold.
nice.
Um, so it's good to cleanse them up. And I mean, they're not some crystals love the sun and they just stay out there forever. And
Mhm,
crystals like amethyst will are a little
mhm.
fussier.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's kinda like plants, eh?
Yeah,
A
that's
little
right,
bit like
exactly.
plants. So
Well,
some
I
plants
think
are like full sun, they love it, and then other plants, it's like, "No, no, no, give me some shade."
one thing the crystal souls, our higher selves, all come from the same place. Plants, rocks, humans, we're the same souls essentially. It is we
Right.
have different looking bodies. So when I see a plant or a crystal or a rock, I'm starting to lower thing, right? I would say, oh, that's a rock. I'm better than I can talk. But now, as I'm learning more from the crystals, I'm starting to understand that their consciousnesses are actually perhaps more evolved than ours, and they're more advanced than we are. And just because doesn't mean this crystal, if it wanted to, because I believe that these crystals are masters of synchronicity, and that's how they get around.
Mm.
Earth is to be there, and it uses synchronicity to get around. So I might say, "Oh, I sold," and
Okay.
so that's how they get around. So they may not have legs like we do, but they can get around better than we can. We'll
Well,
move
right,
them
because
forward.
they're just pure vibration, right? So they can
Exactly.
just they don't have the bodies and all this other nonsense that humans have to deal with.
That's
They
right.
can just, yeah. They don't need
I
a
think
passport.
that's right. Like the things that we think make us so great are actually what's holding us back, like passports and
True.
planes. They don't need all that.
Exactly. That's so true. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are all part of the same thing, right? We are all connected in that respect. Every human, every animal, every plant, we're all connected vibrationally. So it does make sense. Um,
To get across here today, and with anyone I talk to crystals about, is that the ultimate goal with crystals, I feel, this is just me, but my ultimate goal is to understand that this crystal is me, and the properties that it bestows upon me are properties that I already have within me. And these crystals are just permission slips for me to access that aspect of myself that I forgot about.
yeah,
So you could say that aquamarine, it resonates with the throat chakra. It helps you to speak.
right.
You could say that, and on some level that is true. But I
Mhm.
think at a higher level, you would understand that this crystal is just showing me all the things that I have already inside of myself. If that makes any
Because
sense.
you're so right, James. Like everything really is all within ourselves. We are an entire universe within ourselves. That's the way I know this is going to sound weird, but that's the way I feel about God. God is a part of everything that lives, everything that's around. It's, I mean, how else did we get here or anything get here? Somebody created this, right? So our creator is in every single one of us. And that's why I don't feel like I have to go to a church or go to a place to talk to God. God is within me. I just need to access God. That's all I need to do. So it's kind of like what you're saying, right? It's like it's just getting the access to that part of you. And it's not, and don't look at it as something separate from you.
Yeah, I think, and everyone takes a different path to get to that understanding. Some people do tarot, some murder rampage to understand that. So I
True.
think we're all, I mean, as morbid as it sounds, I think it's
Yeah.
true. Some people go, so I'm
It's,
just happy that for me,
yeah,
these guys. So
for sure. I'm happy for all of us who take the, the non-murderous routes to getting to where we need to go. So I mean, I'm all for that. I hope more people can get on that train, right?
right, right. More
Yeah,
crystals for everyone. Crystals for
exactly.
murderers.
I wonder if it would help them.
Yeah, I mean, I look like I'm in prison right now, don't I? I could bring crystals to the prison system. Maybe
Yeah,
that'll help.
totally. You totally could. You should ask for special permission to go in there and bestow them all with crystals in the prison. Oh, yeah, exactly, right? Hey, anything can be used for evil, right?
The crystals are more than willing to help you to heal or to be your murder weapon. So be
That's
careful with them.
absolutely. Well, I swear this could be a murder weapon right now. If I hit somebody on the noggin with that would be just so crazy. And it probably knocks them out. But I
That's
don't
uh,
do that. I use my crystals for good stuff.
right. That's our choice on this planet. You get to choose.
That's right. Well, this is the time of the podcast I warned you about. Do you have access to the chat so you can answer any questions that would be
Yeah,
coming
my
through?
girlfriend Kara. My girlfriend's
Oh,
over here. She can read the questions if there's any.
okay, perfect. So, any of you in the chat, if you have any questions for James, now is the time to do it. I shall return in a couple of minutes.
Here. This is a rainforest jasper. Got it. What else we got?
Wow, that looks amazing, man.
Sitting, but I'm kind of drawn to the ones with rainbows.
Beautiful.
It's a mixture of Heliodor and Aquador. Do I have a claim? I can see that. Yeah, for me, I find that the best cleanser of the crystals is myself. So if I set that intention that I'm gonna basically I make my light big. I have a room where all my crystals are, and if I get a little car wash, and then this kind of puts my intention into 3D and kind and I just feel that that noise in conjunction with my intention that I've set out helps the crystal. If you're connecting with them and talking with them and treating them as other souls, then they're more than happy to just be clean and do all the things that you want them to do.
Hello, James. I'm back.
They said the connection's cutting out, but I think we're okay now, right?
Yeah, looks like we're okay. I can see you. I found my healer's gold here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I think that's goldstone. I know it is goldstone.
Goldstone? Okay, it's like a greenish color, but it's got a lot of gold flecks in it.
Oh, if it is goldstone, then it's a
Oh,
man-made
is it?
crystal.
Oh,
And
okay. Okay. That,
if that goldstone,
look, I have
100%.
one of these.
Okay, amethyst, nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful. One of my favorite stones. And then I got this. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe is that the fool's gold that you had?
That's iron pyrite. That's fool's gold.
Pirate. Okay. And then I have this one here. It's very shiny, beautiful color. This one I bought for the color, just because it's pretty.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah. I don't know what that one's called, but it's very pretty. And this one here is the fool's gold. And so, yeah, I covered all that. I don't have a lot of crystals. I need to get some more. But, you know, it's interesting. Here in Canada, we have a mining place in Ontario, I believe it is, Northern Ontario, where they actually do a lot of the crystal mining, like this kind of stuff. And there's actually a shop there. I haven't been there yet, but there's a shop that is right next to the mine. And you can go in and purchase some of the things that are in the mine.
Are you talking about Thunder Bay?
Yeah, it's around Thunder Bay.
Yeah, that's where Light 23 comes from, and it's one of the more rare crystals on the planet.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the Oralite 23 from Thunder Bay is comprised of 23 different minerals.
Oh,
One of them is gold. And so when you put that many minerals together into one crystal, you get a very powerful healing stone. So
oh,
Oralite 23 to come by. A lot of
mm.
people will make imitation Oralite 23 or call something Oralite 23 when it's not, but the stuff from Thunder Bay
Oh,
is
I
high
see.
quality stuff.
Well, next time I head out that way, because I believe it's actually in Kakabeka Falls, which is right by Thunder Bay, and that's where the mine is. Because we drove through there a few years back, and it was just like there was a different feeling in that area. But it was closed when we had driven by. We were just driving through to go out east, but it was something that it's like on the bucket list. It's one of
Yeah,
those things I want to go check
if all
out.
those crystals are in the ground, I would guarantee that the energy of the area is very intense over there.
Yes,
So definitely pick crystal.
it is very intense there. So yeah, it's crystals are pretty amazing. They can do all kinds of things. I've heard stories from people that were able to heal themselves after a long period of illness and stuff. And so yeah, there's something to it. But I always felt like you kind of need to know what you're purchasing. You can't just go grab any old crystal. You kind of have to know a little bit about what you're
Well,
looking.
I can talk a little bit about my healing perspective when it comes to crystals.
Okay.
Um, so I feel like that there's many different ways to work with crystals. There's one way where you crystal understanding.
Mhm.
Um, there's you start to meditate with them, and once
Yeah.
you start meditating with them, you start to feel that, and that's another level of crystal healing.
Well,
The
that's
next
what
level,
happened. The only one I ever meditated with was this one, and it was a supercharged meditation. So I definitely
for for us to meditate,
think.
that's why they're here, is to really to help us to connect with our higher selves. So
Mhm,
once you start meditating with them and feeling their energy, that's
mhm.
healing. I think the next level after that is when you start to communicate
Right.
with them and start to understand them, and that's when the real healing comes about.
Mhm.
For instance, just as throwing out an example, let's say my car battery dies and I don't understand why. What I'll do sometimes is go into the crystals, find a crystal that I'm familiar with, and ask it, what is this 3D thing representative of energetic realm? And it'll be that, oh, that car battery represents that I'm not paying enough attention to my health, right? Or I'm not paying enough attention
Right.
to cleansing my energy. And so the crystal can actually guide me and point me in that direction. So now that I know that, now I can go into my shadow work and do healing about how I cleanse energy and go into my traumas about how, as a
Um,
that all a catalyst made that spark, that connection. So I feel like once we start to met crystals and really start to communicate with them, that's when they unlock a level of healing and love and just high
it's kind of like therapy.
treat therapy. I
Mhm.
treat them like they're other people, and so I wouldn't speak harshly to this person, right? I would be polite, so treat it like a friend, check in from time to doing well, ask them what they need. Like if I'm going to get healing from this crystal, then I need an open and equal energy exchange. I need to be giving this.
Ah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, so I want to see more. So I'll be okay. I'll take this out into public, or I want to see more
Mhm,
portal.
mhm.
What my animals or tree, put it
Yeah.
outside in nature. If you're not having a energy exchange, you're just taking from the crystal, and it's almost a vampiric
Mhm.
relationship. So I think it's very important to communicate with them and talk with them and see what they need and have that equal
Yeah.
energy exchange.
Mhm. Wow, that's very much like pets, right? It's the same thing with pets and
Right.
plants. Like I've always been one of those people who've been able to sort of understand what pets want. I've always had dogs and I had a cat for a while, and I was always able to know what they wanted because I would focus in on them and then I would look at them, they would look at me, and then I was like, okay, I know that this cat's feeling lonely or sad or what have you, or this dog is feeling like this. And I would try my best to accommodate it. So you're saying it's the same thing with crystals, right? You've got to kind of treat them like pets. And same thing with plants. You can see where they're dry, they need more water or they need more sun. You got to accommodate them. Otherwise, they won't accommodate you, right?
Right. And they have their own way of communicating,
Yeah.
right? A pet will communicate to you telepathically, or it'll hail,
Mhm.
whatever the way it knows how to speak to you. Same with the plant. It's speaking to you always, but you have to reach it on its level.
Mhm.
Communicate with us. They want to, but we have to learn how to do it. The way I've learned how is through meditation and just turning off my ego and letting our higher selves speak to each other, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, yeah, just like pets, just like plants, is they're talking to us always, and we just got to learn how to listen.
Yeah, exactly. We have to learn how to listen, I think, to each other as well as our pets and everything else, right?
That's
A
right.
lot of it is just being on point and being in the moment and being able to connect with whether it be people. Well, for us empaths, we can always connect with people anyway because we were feeling their energy whether we want to or not.
That's
But
right.
sometimes it's like, we become oblivious, I believe, because we're always thinking about, like, we're living in the future all the time. We're always thinking about what we're going to do next and, where we're going on vacation and where we're doing this and what we're doing. And we're not living in the moment enough. So I think that crystals and things like this, like I explained to you, my mind will wander unless I'm holding on to the crystal, then it becomes crystal clear. I focus, right? So we need to practice more. Meditation also does the same thing. It helps me to become more mindful of everything that's going on around me. And crystals, I think anything we can use that helps us, whether it be crystals, meditation, awareness, yoga, whatever we can do to help bring us to our higher selves is
Right.
probably only going to benefit us and the people around us, right?
Been through so many phases of that. Like when I first started my crystal journey, I would pick a crystal out that I wanted to work with, and it would not leave my side. I would have it in my hand,
Hmm.
left the house. Um, but over time, I started to move away from crystals. As funny as it seems,
Hmm.
um, I just got less and less in need of them, I guess you would say. And I started to understand that holding this crystal is one way to access its energy. Another way is to access it remotely through my consciousness.
Right.
And to the point where I'm at now is where I don't need to access the crystal at all. I just have to remember that whatever that crystal can do, I can do. So
Right.
I just have to
Yeah.
unlock that part.
Exactly.
So
Getting in touch with that
the
part
more
of you that can access the, yeah, like you said earlier. Right.
yeah, so the more I work with them, the less I find I need them.
Hmm.
As odd as it sounds, the more I learn about them, the less I need them.
Right.
Waves, right?
Right.
So I think that's true of everything. I think that's true of tarot. I think that's true of singing. Is there's a time where you have to have it, then you start to grow away from it, and then eventually you don't really need it. You can do all those things without
Yeah,
the permission
just
slip.
just accessing that part of yourself that can do all of this. Yeah, I
Right.
understand what you're saying. That's pretty incredible because even with meditation, I found that when I got into this point of where I was right into meditation to the point where I got obsessed with it, and I had to actually stop because I was like spending way too much time in meditation. I was losing my, hours of my day and everything because I was just addicted to it. But then I found out later that I can do meditation now on the spot. Like, I can be talking to somebody in a conversation, and then all of a sudden kinda go zen for a little bit, and then go into this mini meditation, or even when I'm just sitting outside looking at the birds, I can go into meditation because I'm conditioned now to access that. So, yeah, you're saying the same thing can be with crystals as well.
Yeah, that's so accurate. Because there was a time where I thought, and then there was a time I thought where, well, I can pull down any information I want. I just have to get in a comfy crystal. But as time goes on and you practice and you practice and you practice, it's just like you're saying. I'll be in and I'm just meditating and I'm accessing my higher self. I'm still in 3D. I know when it's time to step up forward because it's my turn. But I'm
Yeah,
so
exactly.
a lot of people will say, "Oh, I can't meditate." And to those people, I would say, yes, you can. It's just you have to practice. Like I can't fly a fighter jet right now, but if I went every day for 3 years, I'd be up in the air shooting down MiGs, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just practice, 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 and anyone can do it, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that there's nothing we can't do. We just have to put our minds to it, and it can't happen. When it comes to the meditation, though, I've had people say that to me as well, that they they can't quiet their mind. So I always suggest to start. That's what I did. I started off with guided meditation. Uh, Jason Stevenson has this huge YouTube channel with all these different kinds of meditations. They're free, so you can go. I started with that, and then did it to the point where then I could now do it without the guiding, but the guided helped me to, because he literally says like slow down your thoughts, slow down, and then regulates your breathing and everything. And once you get used to that habit, you can say it to yourself, and you don't need that guided anymore. But yeah, that's
That's right.
that's what I usually tell people who say that they can't quiet their mind. And it is hard. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of time. It's like anything, working on a muscle or something, you have to work at it, and then eventually
Yeah,
it gets easier, right?
that's right. I'm on a crystals that really
Mhm.
their energy helped me to quiet the mind. So
Yeah.
for me, it was golicite, it was azurite, it was magnesite. I think those are the three major ones where what I would do is I like to lay down and meditate. So I'd put one on my third eye
Yes.
and I could just feel the buzzing instantly. And it's like it almost like it's activating your pineal gland. It's making it like
Yes,
buzz and overthink.
exactly. I
Yeah.
I
So
do the same thing with meditation. I lay down, and one time I did put this thing on my head, but it was giving me a headache after a while 'cause it's so heavy. But yeah, I try to activate it as much as I possibly can, right?
yeah, try different crystals, see what works for you. I mean, those are the ones that worked for me, but a lot of people will put a rose quartz on their head and feel the activation. So
Yeah.
it's important to give it a try, I think. If you're having troubles meditating, try
Mhm.
working with a crystal and try laying down and you might fall asleep, but if you put one on your forehead, you might also start,
I wonder if
traveling the room.
this would be good because, it's the purple chakra, so, you know,
Yeah.
help you get to the higher self. I don't
Yeah.
know.
If you don't know
Just a
where to
thought.
start. Yeah, no, that's a good thought. If you don't know where to start, just go by the colors and put
Exactly.
the
Maybe
blue ones into
you
your
could
throat.
what you could do is lay down and on your pillow behind you, so then, now it's sort of up at the top there, the higher chakra,
Yeah,
and
there's
maybe
been a
that
pillow under my bed every night for the past 8 or 9 years, so
is that right?
I always have a crystal under my pillow because, not that my dreams are awful, but I just feel like it kind of purifies the dream.
Well,
There's less outside influence.
that makes sense. Do you find, like, before you got into crystals, did you have a lot of negative energy around you that
Oh,
you were
yeah.
trying to, ward off?
I think before I woke up, I had no idea. Like, you have no clue. Drink alcohol,
Mhm.
you eat food that's awful for you. So, before I woke up, living in sin. All right. But once I woke up, I started to see like the effect of all these things, and you start to feel the weight of the energy of what you're doing.
Right. Right.
Once you get rid of that, then you say, "Oh, well, that thing's weighing me down," and it's a never-ending thing. So we just start feeling lighter and lighter and lighter.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, the crystals helped me out of that funk tremendously. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
Really, eh? Oh. Well, that's excellent. I'm very glad that it helped you to, take you on a different road, and, you're living a great life out there in Arizona in the mountains, and, you know, it seems
Same.
it seems like you've made some good choices for your life, and it's working for you.
Yeah, I mean, everything has happened that has happened almost magically. It's falling in line. Ever since starting to work with the crystals, I met
Mhm.
my twin flame.
Oh,
We're
that's
living a happy
awesome.
life together. We're on a 40-acre off-grid homestead. And is without the before the crystals, I would never have thought anything like that's possible at all. But it took something. Something had to make me raise my vibration. And for
Uh,
me, it was the crystals. They kicked me in the pants, and so I had to raise my vibration to be around the crystals,
mhm.
and that's brought nothing but blessings, basically.
Where were you living before you moved to Arizona?
Well, I was in the Bay Area, California,
Oh, California. Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole CVID thing, but that kind of propelled me to move and go to a place where I felt a higher vibration. So that's
Mhm.
kind of why I'm here.
And you know what? Very glad that you did, because you ended up in a good place. You have a really uh, bump in Instagram. I love your Instagram. You're always showing the different crystals. And for those of you in the chat, you guys have to go and subscribe to his Instagram. It's Light of Ryga. It's in the title of this video. And once you get there, you can go to his Etsy shop. It's right up on the top there. And do you still have your YouTube channel?
No. So I sadly kind of put that aside to focus time. We are my twin flame over here and I do work on a series together on her channel where we're doing channeling. We
Oh,
have actually
cool.
channeled the crystals several times. She's a very talented channeler and medium and tarot
Nice.
reader herself. And
Oh,
so if you can check out our channelings on kittensweightsandtarot.com. So that's kind of the only YouTube stuff I'm doing right now, but we're getting very interesting information from that. So it's been great.
do you ever plan to go back to your YouTube channel?
I don't have any current plans, but maybe one day because I had a lot of fun
Still,
just doing what I was doing.
it's still
Um,
up there. The YouTube channel, Light of
yeah.
Riga. It's still up there. But I guess you just abandoned it to go do your other things. But it's still up there if you ever want to, pick it back up. Maybe bring your crystals over there.
Yeah.
You never know,
Um,
right? We never
yeah,
know
I'm more
about the
focused.
future.
Right, exactly.
Uh, so, before I let you go, is there any other place that you're on other than the Instagram? And are you on TikTok or Facebook or anything else
Well, I
where
just
people can
do.
reach you?
Yeah, I just do Etsy and Instagram. That's my main kind of things. Like
Okay.
I said, kittens, weights, and tarot for our channelings.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've focused on that. I'm focused on healing. So I offer these crystals. Most of them have been worked with, and I've tried to put my healing into them. But I'm also letting them go for people who want to work with them, so they'll get a clean crystal when it gets to you. So these
Oh, that's
crystals are workhorses. They work. I know they work because I've used them. So I try to offer them to people who wanna use them. Let me just
so
talk about this one very
people
quickly.
people can order those crystals online at your Etsy store?
Right.
Okay.
So let me
Per
talk about this one. This is uh, a healed crystal. So basically, what happened here was this crystal was just growing the way it grows,
Alright.
but then one day there was probably an earthquake or
Uh-huh.
some sort of seismic event, and it just broke the crystal in half.
Whoa.
And, but instead of like quitting, this crystal decided.
Uh,
And I love this crystal and crystals like it because they teach us that can stop you. I mean,
right? The resilience. is incredible. It reminds me of the human resilience and what we can live through
Exactly.
and survive. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful crystal. Before you go, someone had a question here in the chat of what is your
Yes.
cleansing ritual? She asked.
A little bit about that while you're in the bathroom.
Okay.
Basically, I just set my intention. I have a room where all my crystals are, and
Hmm.
I kind of just put my energy outward, and I just fill the room with my own energy, and with the intention of I want these crystals to be cleansed of all negative energy. So I
Okay.
put that out. I spray my energy out. Then I'll grab the singing bowl, and I'll
Right.
kind of ground that energy into 3D. So
Mhm.
this is kind of the 3D representation of my intention. And crystals hear the sound of my intention, and then I feel like that's good. It helps them, and it helps them to cleanse.
Do you ever use these crystals to like cleanse your home?
Oh yeah. So there's crystals. There's no place to walk really because there's crystals everywhere. I don't go anywhere more than like 5 feet from a crystal. So yeah,
Mm.
they're all in the house. They're all in the office. They're all outside. There's crystals everywhere around here.
We lost sound here.
Oh, hell, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. I can hear
Yeah. So basically, there's just crystals everywhere. I
you.
I have them at all parts of the property.
So you recommend people to use crystals to clear energy in their house of any negativity and stuff? Just spread them around, or is there anything special you need to do?
So I haven't not been around a crystal for almost a decade. So I almost forgot what it's like to not have a crystal nearby. I imagine it's awful. Why would you do that? It sounds terrible.
Right?
Um, so yeah, to have crystals, definitely they all. I've never met a crystal with bad intentions. They all want to help. They all want to uplift the mood, the vibe, the energy. So the closer you are to crystals in your life, the I think the more magical your life is going to be.
Okay. So there's no any one crystal that's better than others. Like for me, obviously that black obsidian is not good for me because terrible things happen when I'm around it. But it does it mean like you have to have one like this or one like this or just whatever works for you.
I think that you said it best at the beginning is if you choose the crystal that's screaming for you, you'll know. You'll
Mm.
know when a crystal wants to work for you with 5 times at the show, or you'll keep clicking on it on the internet and you'll know when a crystal is screaming for you to work with. So go with that crystal, talk to it, see what it wants, see what you can give it. And that's the best advice I can give. They're all different. And we're all different. So just find the one that's screaming for you and you
And
take
if
the one.
you see a crystal or somebody gives you something and it just doesn't feel right for you, you're best to pass on it or
Yeah,
move.
I mean, it can't hurt you to hold on to it, but it can't hurt you to give it to someone who needs it. So
Okay.
do what it's all based on your intuition, I feel
Right.
like. And
Okay.
the crystals speak to us through our intuition, so they'll tell you what they want.
Right.
You just have to be receptive to it.
Exactly. Wow, you've given us a lot of food for thought here. Definitely a lot of information, and I want to thank you very much for your time, James, and for coming on. And um, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. It's going to be on a replay on the channel, so people are going to be coming in afterwards and watching this. So yeah, I'm glad that they can reach out to you on Instagram and find out what's going on at your Etsy store and what you offer, as well as your tarot and stuff like that. So you could be getting some people hitting you up, but that's all right.
Well, I want to thank you for not only for having me on here and letting me chat with you about crystals, but also for all your support. You were such a huge supporter of my channel when I started it, and you were always there to give me encouragement, and that doesn't go unnoticed. I really do appreciate that, and I want to see you keep going because you're offering such a great service to people. I feel like in general, people don't appreciate tarot as much as they should, and especially people who are doing it weekly to bring you
Yeah.
healing information. So I thank you for doing that, and I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much, James, and thanks again for that wonderful health reading you gave me. I had tears in my eyes when I saw that email from you, and I was like, wow, what a wonderful and very gracious thing for you to do. Nobody asked you to do it; you just heard I wasn't doing well. You offered that reading to me, and I never forgot that either. So very much supportive of you and your journey, and very happy to have met you. So
Same
uh, take it easy. We'll be in touch soon, I'm sure. Okay.
here.
Bye for now.
Thank
You
you.
can just click off at the top there to click
Yep.
yourself out. Have a great
Bye.
rest of the day. Bye
You
bye.
too.
Hello, everybody. So, what did you think of this topic? It was pretty wild, right? It's okay, Linda Lamoureux, you're late. It's all good. You can always watch it in the replay. That's what a lot of people do. But we had some great conversation about crystals here tonight. James was just full of information. We had a little bit of a wild topic going on there at one point, but I thought it was kind of humorous and really good. He's a really good guy, James, for sure. So I would advise all of you, if you're on Instagram, go to Light of Ryga. It's spelled Rayga, Ryga, and or Ryga. I don't know. It's right here, Ryga. Um, or is it RA? I may have forgotten the A in the title. But either way, if you go to Instagram, you can go and check on. He's got like all kinds of videos on there as well as crystals, and then just click up at the top there. He has a link to his Etsy store. You just go in through there, and you can see what he has available. But he does have some really nice stuff. Like I've been watching him, unveil and unpack all of these crystals over the last couple of years, and they're pretty extraordinary. And things are getting erased here in the chat there. I'm hungry. Who's doing that? You or Ninja? Ninja is back. Who's erasing these people? You are. Okay. That's So what did y'all think of the guest and the topic? Did you guys like it? Because I know some people in the chat a couple weeks back were asking about a crystal expert. Yeah, the stream wasn't great, and he already kind of gave me a heads up on that because he said that he is in the mountains and sometimes the internet can go in and out. So he was glitching up a little bit. So Ida says, I love learning about crystals. Yeah, thank you for sharing this information. Absolutely. When I think of crystals right away, he's the first one that comes to mind. But Ninja, are you back? Or are you just popping in here? I see Miss Bikini is here. And oh, Jody Briggs. I don't know if you're still there, but hello, Jody. Nice to see you in the chat. And yeah, how y'all doing on this Sunday evening? So I hope you got a hold. Well, maybe some of you who came in late didn't hear the early part of what I said on the podcast about next week's podcast will be on Saturday, um, probably 6 to 7, the same time. Check the channel for the exact dates. But I have a guest coming on. It has to be pre-recorded though, because of the schedules did not match. So we will be pre-recording it, and it will be released as a live podcast on Saturday, because Sunday is Tony's and mine's anniversary. So it's St. Patrick's Day. We may pop in here in the afternoon, maybe for a quick hello. But for sure, the podcast will be broadcast on Saturday evening with my guests, and then we'll all be in the chat. I will also be in the chat while we're watching it for the first time after it's been pre-recorded. So I hope you guys got all of that, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And I will have to sign off right now because it is about that time. I want to say take care, much love, and Star Lordess signing off for now. See you next week. Bye bye.